One man had a donkey that had been faithfully carrying sacks of flour to the mill for years. As the donkey grew older, it became weaker and less able to work. The owner decided to let it starve to death, but the donkey knew what was happening and escaped, heading for the city of Bremen in search of a new life. On the way, the donkey met a hunting dog who was lying on the side of the road, exhausted. The donkey asked why the dog was so tired, and the dog explained that she was old and no longer able to hunt. She had escaped from her owner, who wanted to kill her. The donkey suggested that the dog come with him to Bremen, where they could both become musicians. The dog agreed, and they continued on their journey together. In Bremen, they found work as musicians, playing music for people. The donkey played the lute, and the dog beat the drum, bringing joy to the city. They were happy to have each other's company, and knew that they were no longer alone. Soon they saw a cat sitting on the road, as bored as 3 days of rainy weather. The donkey asked, "What happened to you, old cat?" The cat replied, "I was about to be caught by someone and drowned, but I managed to escape. Now I'd rather just sit by the stove and purr instead of chasing mice." The donkey suggested that the cat come with them to Bremen. The cat knew a lot about music and could be hired as a musician. The cat agreed, and they set off together. Then our fugitives passed through a courtyard. There was a rooster sitting on the gate, crowing loudly. The donkey asked, "What's wrong with you?" The rooster replied, "I'm predicting good weather for tomorrow, because it's a holiday. But my hostess ordered the cook to make soup for me, so I'll be chopped off tonight." The donkey said, "Come with us to Bremen. You'll find a better life. You have a nice voice, and we can sing together." The rooster agreed, and the 4 of them continued on their journey. But they could not reach Bremen in one day, so in the evening they came to a forest where they decided to spend the night. The donkey and dog sat under a large tree, while the cat perched on a branch, and the rooster flew to the very top of the tree, thinking it was the safest place. Before falling asleep, the rooster looked around, and suddenly he thought he saw a light in the distance. He told his friends that the light meant there was a house nearby. "Then we must go there." "I don't like this place for the night," said the donkey. The dog noticed that some bones with leftover meat would be very useful for her. So they set off in the direction where the light was twinkling. The light grew stronger and stronger, and finally they came to the robber's house. The donkey, as the tallest, approached the window and looked inside. "What do you see, Gray?" the rooster asked. "I see a set table with good food and drink," the donkey replied, "and the robbers are sitting around having fun." "It wouldn't be bad for us too," said the rooster. "Yes, yes. If only we were invited," the donkey sighed. Then they began to think of a way to get rid of the robbers. Finally, they came up with a plan. The donkey stood on its front legs by the window. The dog jumped onto the donkey's back, the cat climbed onto the dog, and the rooster perched on the cat's head. Once they were all in place, they started playing music. The donkey bellowed, the dog barked, the cat meowed, and the rooster crowed loudly. This scared the robbers so much that they jumped up in terror. They thought the house was haunted. In great fear, they fled into the forest. After the robbers left, the 4 friends sat down to enjoy the food that was left behind. They ate like they hadn't eaten in weeks. When they finished, they turned off the lights and looked for a place to sleep. Everyone had their own preferences and habits. The donkey lay in the yard on a pile of garbage, the dog outside the door, the cat on the hearth in a warm spot, and the rooster on the roost. They were all very tired after their long journey and immediately fell asleep. When midnight had passed and the robbers noticed from afar that all the lights in the house were off and everything seemed quiet, the chieftain said, "We shouldn't let them scare us like that," and he ordered one of the robbers to go and check out the house. The messenger, after making sure everything was quiet, went into the kitchen to start a fire, but mistaking the cat's glowing eyes for embers, he struck a match to get a spark. However, the cat was not amused. She pounced on the robber, grabbing his face. Terrified, he tried to run, but the dog outside the door leapt up and bit him on the leg. As the robber raced through the yard past a pile of garbage, the donkey gave him a hard kick with its hind legs. The rooster, awakened by the commotion, cheerfully crowed, "Coo-ca-ree-coo." The robber ran as fast as he could to his leader's side. I told him what had happened. Oh, there was a terrible witch in the house. She hissed at me and scratched my face with her long nails. There was also a man with a knife outside the door who shot me in the leg. A black monster lay in the yard and attacked me with a club, while a judge sat on the roof screaming, "Give me that thief here." I started running, and the robbers never dared to come near the house again. The 4 Bremen town musicians liked the house so much they decided to stay there.